Rolling with the triple C, I'ma make him bend the knee. Rolling with the triple C, don't really count the heat.
Look at this takedown. Look at how far off his shoulder was. Why he didn't get it? Okay, he was on a single leg, and then he transitioned into a high crotch position. Watch. And then look at where his shoulder is. You see, the shoulder typically should be right by the waistline, like right inside where you have control, and you're actually able to see it. You see, look at how far out. It's almost like it's by his thigh. And then you're only going to allow Volkanovski, you're only going to give him corner. You see? Because his shoulder was off. Look at how far off his shoulder is. This is why this man is looking to reverse you. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Fight Feedback. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C. And on this episode of Fight Feedback, we're going to be dissecting the most competitive fight in UFC history. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. The big question is who won? And in this episode of Fight Feedback, guys, I'm going to be breaking this thing down because they are fighting again. There will be an Islam Makhachev, Alexander Volkanovski too. This episode was brought to you by the one and only Fruit, with 15 servings of fruits and veggies in every bottle. Guys, you guys make sure to enter promo code CCC20 to get your 20% off. That's right, enter promo code CCC20 and get your 20% off. Anyhow, guys, enough talk. Let's take it to the big screen. So here we have it, none other than Alexander Volkanovski, 34 against. But look at this guy. That's 4 inches. But look at this. Even though this may be 4 inches, he still has an inch in a reach advantage with Islam Makhachev. Let's hit the play button. Yeah, beginning of this fight, I felt like, ooh, right away, Volk was showing Islam he wasn't afraid. And this was right down the pipe. Boom, fake, gets his feet underneath him, and then this is where he catches him with that right hand. Got close, or I'm sorry, was left. But he was able to cover that, be able to cover distance while he's switching stance to be able to sneak that left hand in. You see what I'm saying? Look, Volk was doing a good job of covering and throwing. Even though he's not accustomed to throwing that close, he was still doing a good job in there. But the person that got, look, he put him to his knee. The person that got the best out of the exchange was actually Islam with the kick. And you can see the difference in the weight class when a lightweight hits and then a featherweight hits. These guys are just swinging at this point. Boom, that rattled him, brought him to his knee. And then boom, that other kick. Even though he blocked it, it still kind of stumbled him a little bit. Yup, and the knees, that knee off the open. Yup, and then right away looking for his wrestling. Right here, you see, if I was in Islam's nice knee, gets him against the cage, and that you should have been pulling him out a little bit more rather than allowing Islam Volkanovski to rest. And watch, pause it real quick. You see, from this position, I feel like watching the whole fight, because again, guys, I just watched the whole fight without the volume on, but I felt like Islam stayed in these positions a little too much when Alexander Volkanovski was being carried by this cage right here. So in these positions, what Islam could have done, instead of kind of wasting and just grabbing, because I feel like in this position, this is what really got Islam tired. It was the threshold of being locked for so long. He could have dropped this shoulder right here with his right and left arm to be able to get that shoulder behind his butt to be able to take him down. But there's a lot of energy that he kind of expanded in these positions. Even though he did get him down in the first, Alexander, where he did a good job is continue to keep fighting him. Don't let him get situated. Don't let him get a bigger limb on him. Yep, same combination, kind of switching stance and going. And Islam wasn't doing a good job going linear. He look what Islam's doing. He's just going straight back. And again, I don't know if he got caught in that second, which I didn't. And you can tell right here that it was nothing. It was this cage that he hit that eventually kind of stopped him. And again, you guys see what I'm saying? A lot of power. A lot of power. I think he's kind of throwing them on him right there. And this was kudos to Alexander, because Alexander was doing a really good job of just getting to his feet, of just moving, of not allowing Islam to catch more position or more grips or giving them more body. He was making them work. You know what I'm saying? Like, he brought him down. He's already trying to face him inside to be able to get it. But again, this is where Islam was missing everything right here, of him using his hand to be able to break that table, to be able to start really looking for things. He allowed Volkanovski to get to his hands to eventually start getting up. It was a big mistake. Again, same combination, kind of coming forward, stepping through, and eventually throwing that left or that right. Body, you know, again, power. And that was just the difference. Again, they weren't fighting in Australia. The crowd, the roars made things a lot, you know, a little different, because every time he hit, nobody said anything. But when he was hitting, boom, again, with another knee. The harder punches, guys, that gave, and this is round 2. This was, to me, this was a swing round. Boom, another one, another knee. You see, to me, this was a swing round. This was the difference in that fight. But now, rewatching the fight and analyzing it, I thought Volkanovski had probably put him on his knees, but no, it was a cage is the reason why Islam ended up kind of going backwards and getting it. But boom, uppercut, hurt him, followed up with the knee. Judges need to count this. Knees are the hardest limbs, the hardest punches people could actually give. Again, going into the third. Yep, tripped him there. And again, searching, yeah, once Volkanovski got that underhook, he was good right there. You got to lock your hands. Lock your hands. Look for it. Another knee. And you can tell he was ready for it. You see his hand. You gotta start pulling people off his own. If you're able to pull people off and then regrip, that's the key. But I felt like he fought a little too much here. Pull him off just a little bit and then regrip as you would. But that should be your initial thing. Use the pressure to yank him off. And again, you see what I'm saying? Like this is what got Islam tired right here. In this position, you're gonna lose this position, Islam. You're gonna lose him getting out. Why? Is because he's got his back on the cage, which is holding him up. You're losing him here. This is where I would say transition up top and catch the front headlock to eventually get reversed. You see what I'm saying? You're losing the position. Hurry up and climb over to the head right away. Stick him in another position that he's not going to see coming. But if you stick around here a little too much, guys, even though it's the third round, it's like right now he's being held up by the cage to eventually get out. And then he challenges on, which is something that nobody does. Yep, caught him again with that straight left. You know, where he's accustomed to it, and then boom, just wait for him. You know, a lot of the success where Islam had is when he was pressing and when Islam was just waiting for him. But when he was going backwards, when he was getting hit, and again, all the same combinations, his reaction, Islam's reaction skills made him look more powerful than what he really was. Because look, that was a trip right there. But because he's out of position, this is what's making it look like Alexander's really kind of connecting and really dropping him. But look, it's his reaction and it's that back leg that pretty much tripped him. Wasn't a knockdown. But I think there's one thing that Islam really needs to work on, and it's his damn composure. Yep, tying into the fourth. Yep, found that double leg. Like, you needed more of that. Again, where is the wrist? Like, climb up. Those are opportunities. But what did Islam do? He waited for this dude to react. And then, boom, level change. Nice takedown. This was the cleanest takedown that I believe that he had the whole fight. But that was one thing that he didn't do. He wasn't snatching his wrist. This isn't Dagestani style wrestling, guys. When you get on top of somebody, this is called wrestling. Yeah, right here in this position, this is where this man, Islam, needs to capitalize. Like I said before, guys, Dagestani wrestling is a freestyle, Olympic style wrestling. They're the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to controlling people off bottom, nobody does it better than the Americans. I mean, these guys, where they learn their top control, I want to say it's here in America, because in Russia, they don't do folk style type of wrestling. This is where this man right here did not capitalizing of snatching these wrists. Islam did a good job of maybe or trying to tie up the legs scorpion style, like scoop them up, but it's one thing that he did miss, and it was right here. It was right here. It was whacking that wrist again to get him to move to other positions, to eventually start finding the legs. This is where I believe that he can make the biggest adjustments. Boom. Just great timing. Beautiful takedown right away. You got to lock, bro. You got to lock your hands right away. With a guy like Volk, you got to lock. You got to lock and snatch wrists. And again in the fourth. This was, man, if you guys want to talk about control, I mean, this is you know, once Islam got to his arm triangle, he was good. Volkanovski wasn't doing anything. He wasn't going to do anything to Islam. Yeah, those don't do anything. You're being controlled, man, on bottom. And I think, you know, look at how tight that is, though. This is where he should be living, because it shows that more likely you can't. Next time you fight a guy like Islam, you're not going to be able to control him with the Dagestani style of wrestling. So that means you're just going to have to body triangle him. I mean, you had him there for a full 3 minutes where he didn't do anything, which was a pretty impressive round to win, and the way he did it. But I gotta tell you what, he caused no damage to Alexander Volkanovski, but he was still able to edge out that round and actually win it. Yep, catching him coming in. You see, when Islam just waited, just hold. You're the tougher guy. When you were pressing and he was waiting, this is when this man right here was having more success. Bah. The harder punches, rocking somebody back. Yep, just wait for him. Wait for him in the middle of the cage. Wait for him or press him, but you have to go. Another knee to the body. This was on the fifth. Yep, another hard knee. Yep, I want to say that second knee is what actually cut him. There's one. And then this one right here is what cut Volkanovski. Boom, you can barely catch it, but you can see the drip. And even Volkanovski points at it. Yep, right there. That's what he had it, but look, he wasn't. Yeah. Yeah, once he's there, and then even a guy like Daniel Cormier will tell you, this is where you got to put the pressure forward and start to put more pressure on Volkanovski on top of his body in order for you to stop chopping this thing down. But he was he was a little too neutral here. Go ahead, hit the play button. You know what I'm saying? Which allowed Volkanovski to twist, turn, and do whatever he was doing. He was just competing. But right away, you got to be able to put that weight on top of his head and hands. Like right there, start bringing that momentum towards his head. Don't stay neutral, dude. You stay neutral, and this is what happens. He just swung that leg. He just swung that leg and got him off you. Yep. Again, you see what I'm saying? He's digging for something where he really just has to snatch this. If he's able to snatch this, there's nothing for this man to catch a hold of himself. You know what I'm saying? But he's allowing him to get up. Yeah, and then his shoulder was off. Islam's shoulder. Look at this takedown. Look at how far off his shoulder was. Why he didn't get it? Okay, he was on the single leg, and then he transitioned into a high crotch position. Watch. And then look where his shoulder is. You see, the shoulder typically should be right by the waistline, like right inside where you have control, and you're actually able to see it. You see, look at how far out. It's almost like it's by his thigh. And then you're only going to allow Volkanovski, you're only going to give him corner. You see? Because his shoulder was off. Look at how far off his shoulder is. This is why this man is looking to reverse you. And well, he squared up, he defended you, could have lifted there too. And after all that exhaustion wrestling, after being in positions, this is why, pause it. This is why it's better, guys, instead of wrestling a position and getting somebody tired, or when it's the 5th round, bail out, get out. Don't spend time in exhaustion or a position that you're not going to win. You need to learn once you say, no, I'm out. I'm retreating to find another position. See what I'm saying? Look at where the shoulder's at. The shoulder should not be there. You are so far off. Go ahead. He lost the position. And he still probably could have used his head to really get inside here, like in between his legs, but no. He was already fatigued. And Volkanovski just slipped through. And then now, one thing I will say about Alexander Volkanovski that he did a really good job. Go ahead, let's. He caught him with that. He caught him with that right hand here. Bah. But I won't say if it's a right hand or if this match has happened a level change. Like again, when he gets hit, he makes it seem harder than what it really was. When he turns it into something, his legs are kind of flopping. He's kind of going everywhere. And then now Alexander, this is how he got to take them. This is how he ended. You know, if I want to, there's kudos that I do have to give to Alexander Volkanovski, and he was his mind game. He was talking to him. He was catching the energy of the crowd. You see what I'm saying? Like he was literally fighting at home, and I think that's what really helped a guy like Volkanovski and the way he's ending. I mean, this was the most decisive round for Alexander Volkanovski. We had round 2, we had round 3, and then we had round 5. But looking back at the fight now, it's just a little different. And this is what it was, guys. And this is what it was. I mean, this was one of the most competitive fights, and still, I mean, he was able to catch the bigger shots. Rewatching the fight now, he was able to catch the bigger fights, the bigger punches, the bigger kicks. the bigger knees and the bigger right hands, where Volkanovski was actually stumbling. But if there's one thing that I could add and give some advice to Islam Makhachev, dude, stay composed in your defense, man. Stay composed. Start learning how to fake and start throwing, you know. But anyhow, let's break it down to the whiteboard so I can grade this fight. And what is it, the adjustment these guys had to make in order for either one of them to say and still or and you. Let's go. So now the techniques, the tactics, and the threshold. Guys, these guys are going to fight again. What is it that these guys have to do in order for them to actually say and you or and still? This isn't the first meeting that these guys are going to have against each other. Again, these guys need to run it back, and they need to run it back ASAP. I think Alexander Volkanovski needs to wait for that featherweight, because there is an opportunity at 155 pounds. And his name is Islam Makhachev, and they had a very razor close, thin fight. But I want to know who the winner is. So the 3 T's, the techniques, the tactics, and the threshold. Guys, I want to start off here. Who is it that had the edge on the threshold? Guys, I can tell you guys right now, I was wrong. I was thinking Islam would have the bigger threshold, but in this scenario, I'm gonna have to give this right here to Alexander Volkanovski. Right here. I do feel like he's the one that's striving the 5th. He was able to win that 5th round decisively. So for that reason, guys, I thought Alexander Volkanovski had a bigger gas tank. So for that reason, Alexander Volkanovski, his threshold is what made this fight competitive. His ability of being conditioned, his ability to be getting out of positions, all based on his gas tank. The tactics, the tactical work, man, to me, this one right here, it was pretty neutral for this one. And typically, I don't like ties. And I'm still not sure if I'm gonna give a tie, but I felt like they both had a game plan. And I thought Alexander did a really good job that allowed that 2nd round to be kind of like a swing round, but he was able to win round 3, which was another close round, but that he was able to be decisively in the 5th. I think what Islam did good is taking him back in the 4th, is being able to take him down and control him, getting Alexander to his butt, getting him against the cage a lot more. So if I had to pick somebody tactically, you know, even though I kind of want to say it was about even, I'm gonna have to give the edge on this one to none other than Islam, right here. So we're gonna put the I. So what it really came down to more than anything was right here, the technique, the technique, the technique. There's a lot of things that I did like what Alexander did good, and there was a lot of things that I felt Islam could have done better, especially as the bigger man. But I will say something, that Islam did get the harder punches, and he did get the harder knees. I mean, it was a little, I mean, when he hit, you can tell when he kicked or when he kneed, there was a thump in there. It wasn't just a patty cake like Volkanovski when he was touching him. Not saying that he was playing patty cake, but what I'm saying is there was a thump that was there a little different. Yeah, it could have been a lot crisper. A lot of his techniques could have been a lot crisper, but right now we're just talking about percentages, punch count, punch strength, and what is it that he did. So with the wrestling, I'm just gonna have to give this, again, guys, it was such a close fight, but again, I'm gonna have to give the technique, even though I feel like, and with both of these guys, they all gotta work on the 3 T's, I have to give it to Islam. After rewatching this fight, guys, I mean, again, you guys think about it. Islam is fighting in Australia. I rewatched the fight without no volume, without nobody here. It was just me and this damn screen. So when I watched the second round, I mean, that second round was a difference in this fight. You know, when I initially watched it live, I was like, oh, no, that was Alexander's round. But no, not really. Rewatching it again, this is why I said he kind of stole it. But then rewatching the fight again, no bias, no sound, no nothing. The punch that I thought had landed, it was a level change done by Islam, that when he hit the cage, that he just happened to level change, where Volkanovski happened to even through it, where it just grazed him, but it wasn't even that. This is the same reason why I thought I was gonna give Alexander that round, but no, not really. I think the knees that Islam started giving him, the right hands that he started cocking his head back. If there's one thing that Alex did better than Islam, was his defensive skills of not overreacting. But you can tell that when he got hit, it was a ooh. You could see when Volk got hit, it was there, where we're in the position where every time Islam would get hit, he would go back and then he would shoot and he would do certain things that made him look the combinations a lot worse than what they really look like. So overall, guys, watching the fight, I give round 1 to Islam. I give that swing round 2 back to Islam, and then I give Islam round 4 when he ended up taking the back. 3 was super close. 3 was also super close, but you know what? I won't be too greedy. I'll give it to Alexander. I felt like maybe he got more of the touch sparring, and then the 5th round, his heart, his will, his ability to be able to call the fight and get the crowd and be able to talk to Islam. I think that's where he carried a lot of energy. So the 5th was decisively his. So overall, I'm gonna have to give this fight, and again, guys, I was wrong. Islam beat him 3 rounds to 2, and that is the fight breakdown. So again, guys, leave your comments below. Ask me if you agree or disagree, but this was sponsored by Fruv, with 15 servings of fruits and veggies in every bottle. Guys, you guys enter promo code CCC20 and get your 20% off. Guys, there's more where that came from, so you guys make sure to subscribe to my damn YouTube channel. I'm out! So thank you guys again for watching. It means a lot to me. So you guys remember, there's more breakdown, there's more technique, there's more tactics, and there's definitely more cringe. So make sure to subscribe and click on that button. I'm out!